Kia ora koutou. Ooh, hi, I'm loud. My name is Jace Blair. I am your panel chair along with Simone next to me, who will be helping me out, and we'll be switching and swapping. We are here for the student category, often the most diverse category. Lots of interesting stuff. We get a look at the future of photography here. Proudly sponsored by Lumix, of course, part of the Nikon Iris Awards. So welcome to the room, welcome to the live stream, and we're going to select a panel. No, we're going to do a run through first, aren't we? So we will start the run through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, an exciting range of work as usual. So for our initial panel, I would like to invite Mike Langford, Sarah Lee Cobb, Glenn Howie, Mandy Lynn, and Amber Griffin to the panel. Welcome aboard. Find your tabs, get ready, take a deep breath, loosen up. How are we all feeling? Good? Prepared? Born for it? Okay, and then, without further ado, can we have the first print, please? Okay, we have an initial score of 76. Pretty even scoring there, team. That is a bronze award. Can I get a comment for the author's benefit, Glenn? Thank you.
Yeah, really like the sequencing. The moments are well captured, and it tells its story nicely. Strong narrative. Well done.
Thanks, Glenn. We will accept that score. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. Print scores an average of 74. That is a high professional standard. Very consistent scoring. Can I please have a comment from Mike's looking at me?
Yeah, I actually love the idea of it, using the blinds. Unfortunately, the blinds have stopped us seeing the eyes of the performer, and I think that would have made it much stronger. Just a lack of communication in there.
Thanks, Mike. Just pause for Mandy to stop her phone ringing. Sounded like the ice cream truck. I got my hopes up for a second. Can we have the next print, please? Print scores 75. That is a bronze award. Can I have some feedback from this end, Mandy?
Yeah, so the storytelling is quite powerful, and I'm impressed.
Can you lean into the mic?
The storytelling is powerful here, but if you're looking, the color palette and the lighting on the actual subjects is significantly less than everything else. So you're not really sure where to take your eye. So that's a little more control there.
Thanks, Mandy. Next print, please. Print scores 74. That is a high professional standard. Everyone happy with that? Can I get a comment on the print from Glenn? You're looking at me, go on.
Yeah, hey, I like the drama that this image holds within it. The colour palette's kind of cool, but the contrast is really high, and some of the finishing touches, post-production wise, are a bit rough.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next photograph, please? And we have a 74. We're in a bit of a groove, aren't we? That's a high professional standard. I'm going to come to Sarah Lee. Have you got a comment for us? No? Mike? Sure.
Yeah, the floating heads really aren't connected, and shooting black on black just gives some separation. It would make the whole communication stronger.
Thanks very much. Next print, please. Print score 75. That is a bronze award. Amber, have you got a comment for us?
Yeah, I think my first reaction to this was that it has quite a magical feeling. I think the double exposure element's really interesting, but I just found the colours to be a little bit gaudy, and I would just wanted the mushroom to be a bit more perfectly in focus, but it's got a really magical feeling.
Thanks very much. Can we please have a blank screen? We're going to go with the change early and change often judge swapping strategy. So, Mike, do you want to take a break? And Russell, do you want to jump in? Found yourself? Ready to rock?
Not really.
Next photograph, please.
In the tab world.
Thank you, judges. That scores 76, which is a bronze award. Is the challenge available?
Yeah, I'd like to challenge
Go on,
this.
Amber.
I actually really enjoy this print.
What did you score it?
Sorry?
What did you score it?
I scored it an 83 because I really like the progression of aggression in the three subjects, and I thought all of the eyes were just quite communicative. I know there are some technical issues, especially in the top image, but I just found the engagement of each subject really interesting. And I think that it deserves a little bit more than a 76. So please come up.
Thanks, Amber. Russell, you're sitting at the lower end of the range.
Yes, I scored at 70, and I'm still comfortable with that, to be honest. I mean, there is the issues with the top disappearing into the background, the lack of separation there when the colour of the other dogs really jump out. I don't see that gradation of emotion in the eyes at all. I think each of the dogs are quite placid. It's quite well done, but professional to me.
Someone in the middle want to jump in? Yeah, Glenn?
I was there on 78, and I really am in the 78 department. I think the photographers handled a really difficult situation well. I like the composition and layout of those three images on the page. Russell, I'm with you completely. The black's disappearing to nothing in the top frame is a real shame. But there's lots of other good stuff about this, right down to the progression of the ears, and they've used the kind of pattern and shape reasonably well. So hey, I'll drag it up to just into the silver. Why not?
Amber, write a reply.
Great. Yeah, let's reward this print for all of the good things. Come up into silver.
Thanks, judges. Please rescore this image.
That box, to what you're up to.
Starting on a 76 initial score, we will have a 78. Strong bronze. Thank you, judges. Can we have the next print, please? Scores, please, judges. Okay, the print has an initial score of 82. There is a challenge available for Russell.
What's the score?
You're in 82. You're in the next scoring range there.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Well, I was 85, so not far away. Just trying to see what everyone else would come up with, because it's we all looked at it long and hard, and why not? Let's talk about it. I actually really enjoy. Shouldn't use that word, but it strikes me on many levels. The depth of it, the detail, the young lady sort of playing a different part in the creation of the final image at the bottom, and then becoming part of her art. So, you know, literally physically creating at the top, and then using a little bit of magic, as all art contains, in the middle, and then being part of that lovely collection of beautiful things to look at in the bottom. And so her heart and soul is in her art, and part of her magic, and I just love the whole sort of canvas of it all, really, I guess, without sounding too corny. So I would have happily actually gone a bit higher, but seeing as it's my second print, I was just dipping my toe in the water. So, yeah.
Thanks, Russell. I'd love to hear from Amber or Sarah Lee at the other end.
I scored this print in 80. I love the creativity and the concept and the storytelling that it has. I think what could be improved is if there was dodging and burning, and especially in directing the eye to the little figurines and the specific storyline, rather than a very flat background. That would help us fine-tune, help us direct our eye through all the detail to a stronger narrative.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. Mandy, do you want to get in on that?
I think the fact that we spent so much time navigating that narrative really speaks to that. So even though she didn't obliquely say, this is where you need to look, she left that magic to us. And I think that, or he, but I find it fascinating. And Russell, I'm actually coming up with you. I think I was a bit mean at 82, and I'm going to take it up to silver distinction. And the other thing I really love about it is you go in depth, and then there's that sequence progression coming back out, and understanding the whole world that she's creating from this one small thing all the way, and extracting out. I think that there was a lot of thought and genius that went into that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mandy. Russell, you did get a right reply on that.
Sure.
Wrap it up.
Well, I'm not allowed to lift my score, so I hope you guys do. But I think just the commentary on the dodging and burning, I think the patina of each of those three images in that triptych sort of works for the moodiness of it. The subject matter is nature, and it's just got a nice feel to it. It's sort of quite serious, I suppose, even though it's quite playful in its presentation. So I think it's very well thought out and very well presented to us, and I'm quite enamoured of it.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore this print. Initially sitting on 82. Bit of discussion. Russell's looking for a silver with distinction. Russell, you need to actually put a score in. And we have an 86, silver with distinction. Thank you very much, judges. Can we have the next print, please? Print scores an average of 71. That's a professional standard. Can I get a comment for the photographer, please? Glenn's going for it.
Look, a lot of the message gets lost in the shadows and what we can't see, and there's some fairly brutal pixelated issues going on as well. But the idea was in there for sure.
Thanks very much. Next print, please. We have an initial score of 77. That is a bronze award. We'll accept that. Can I get a comment for the author's benefit, please? Someone down this end, or Amber, you can?
Yeah, I awarded this a bronze, and I really just enjoyed the emotional response that I got from it because it is quite disgusting to look at. I think that it would improve from just a little bit more finesse with the printing, because everything apart from the subject in the front just feels very flat.
Thanks very much. Can we have the next print, please? Print scores an average of 73. Nice consistent judging. It's a professional standard. Love to hear a comment, Mandy, if you have one. You can pass it on if someone else is keen. Russell, yeah, sure.
It's quite fun. It's illustrative, but it's a little bit clumsy in the photoshopping of the sort of the glowing around each of the elements added to it, and I couldn't really understand it either, so it didn't really tell me anything, so it didn't take me anywhere.
Thanks, Russell. Amber and Cyril and I can't see you guys very well, so if you want to say something, I don't know if you do, if you have been and I've been missing you, but...
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I do appreciate all the work that's gone into creating this, and I think that this person should continue in the path that they are on, but just really work on your Photoshop techniques and refine some of that retouching, and then you'll be on the right track.
Thanks. Can we have a blank screen, please? And Mandy, do you want to have a break? And Catherine, would you like to jump in? Thank you, Mandy. Love your work. Welcome aboard, Prez. I think you've got to press the actual button at the bottom of the thing because it's an old Windows.
Oh, yeah.
HP. Thank you very much. Ready to rock? Can we have the next print, please? And we have an initial score of 75, which is a bronze. Very consistent scoring, so we'll accept that. Can I ask for a comment? Catherine, since you've just jumped aboard, if you've got something nice, someone got something constructive to add? Yeah, Amber.
I think that the narrative is entertaining with this image. To lift it higher, it would just be good for the photographer to consider the compositional elements a little bit more and try to find ways of making their composite a little bit more believable by thinking about where focus would naturally happen.
Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? All right, that scores an average of 78. We have a challenge available for a couple of people. Sarah Lee's going to take it. Go for it.
I scored this print an 82. To me, the narrative speaks to humans looking at a beautiful, serene landscape and wanting to add something such as the little swans, that paper swans that are in there as well. I think the lighting beautifully directs us to the centre, and everything's very quiet and peaceful, and I think it deserves to come up to a silver.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. Can I please hear from Russell?
I was a bit mean. I enjoyed the lighting of it, but I don't know, it just didn't quite grab me with the placement of the swans. I think a little bit more thought could have been put into that, and they get a little bit lost, especially the one furthest from us. I just found it would have been nicer to come away from the edge a little bit for me, just to strike me a little bit more visually. Otherwise, it is a pleasing effort.
Love to hear from someone in the middle. Amber, you leaning forward, yeah?
Yeah, I scored this an 80, and I feel quite comfortable with this just being in silver. I think that what would improve this image would be if there were some reflections of the swans in the water so that they actually looked like they were sitting there. But I think that it's got really beautiful, tranquil tonality, and I really enjoy the composition.
All right, back to you, Sarah Lee. You don't,
Not really sure what to add.
you don't want to write a reply? That's
Oh,
fair.
sorry, I don't have anything to add.
Cool. Can we please rescore this print? And we're at 78, strong bronze. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. That scores a 75 bronze. Can I get a comment for the benefit of the author, Glenn?
Eyes are fantastic. Love the way they're engaging with us, the viewer and the photographer. Did find, however, there's a little too much on the colour, and there's a sort of yellowy green colour cast coming up underneath on the skin that doesn't help a whole lot.
Thanks very much. Can we have the next print, please? Print scores an 80, which is a silver. Well, I'll take that. Can I get a comment for the photographer's benefit? Russell's leaning in, thinking about something.
Yeah, I was almost tempted to challenge it, actually. Can we do that?
You are in the same scoring range as the average, so you
Okay,
can't.
that's cool. That's fine. I think it's beautifully done.
He's not far
it's,
away.
It's a wonderful representation of someone's journey, and obviously maybe I looked at it as grandma has had a pretty tough time of it, and with the the youngest generation of her family, so who's got a journey of her own to undertake, and hopefully maybe a little bit better than grandma's. I think it's really moody and really emotive and well done.
Great. Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? All right, that print scores 74. It's a professional standard. Catherine, yeah, love to hear from you.
Yeah, really quite creative matting on this, which I appreciate. I think it potentially could have been improved. I get the impression she's being pulled in different directions from her own personality, and I think if the surrounding figures had a little more expression, it might have added to the narrative of this story.
Thank you. Can we have a blank screen, please? And we're going to do another judge change. Jackie's just popped out for a minute, so we'll hold off on her. But Tim, can you jump in for Sarah Lee? Thank you, Sarah Lee. Appreciate your efforts. Welcome aboard, Tim Lomax. Jackie, we were just about to pop you in. If you're sticking around, do you want to jump on? All right. Amber, do you want to take a break?
Sure.
Thank you so much. And Jackie, hop in. There.
You go, Jackie. It's all ready.
Can we then have the next print?
Having a computer problem.
Thank you, judges. Print scores an average of 82. That is a silver. I would love to hear a piece of feedback from somebody. Glenn's got something on standby.
Yeah, look, really neat appreciation of light. I love the way the light gives us so much information in that pattern in the foreground, and the balance of the toned print and the choice of overmat works really well.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. Print scores 74. Tim's going to have a challenge. Go on, Tim.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
When you first look at this image...
What did you score, Tim?
Oh, sorry, I scored 79, a strong bronze. at first, it's quite hard to digest this image, but when I look into it, I automatically get the narrative around like guardian angels. There's the rainbow aura of human figures or dog figures, and then as you go through to the right side of the frame, an extra figure has joined in with the dog. So I just think for the strong narrative, the clean presentation in this image, it definitely is in the award range of bronze.
Thanks, Tim. Catherine or Glenn, one of you keen to have a chat? Go on, Catherine. Haven't heard as much from you.
I think there's a lot of creativity in this approach, and I like that storyline of the figures, but I feel it's undermined by the inclusion of the elements in the background, the light through the neck of the central figure. The image on the left is the only one with any sky in it, so you lose the sense of balance. Yeah, you're on the right track, but it's just not quite there.
Everyone happy with that? Tim, do you want to write a reply?
Yeah, I totally agree with Catherine there, but I'm talking 1 point here into the bronze, so I think for the narrative alone we should award the photographer.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore the sprint. Good, snappy, concise comments. Sitting on 74. 75, we have a bronze. Thank you very much. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. Print starts at an initial score of 77. Catherine, you've got a real good opportunity there.
Yeah, I gave this an 84, which is a really solid silver, and I would love to see it in the silver range. This isn't just a photograph of a train, this is a real portrait of a train. I feel that it's just surging into the frame there. The composition really strengthens that with all the diagonals. It's absolutely centre stage, and it's just got so much personality. Yeah, it's quite magnificent, I think.
Russell and Jackie weren't there. Russell's...
Yep,
oh,
yep.
Jackie, yeah.
So I scored it much lower at 70, partly because I think it's a missed opportunity of a portrait. There's some distractions in the background with the wood or the other what's going on in there. The white clouds sort of capturing my attention, and there seems to be some movement in the smoke, but it's not sort of. I'm not seeing any movement anywhere else. It's a bit of dark vignetting on the left-hand side down the frame. They were the elements that were pulling me out, but I was still in that professional standard, not an award.
Thanks, Jackie. Can I hear someone close to the average in the bronze range, Glenn?
Yeah, I gave it a 75, and it's for a combination of what's been said, to be honest. It does feel like a genuine portrait of that train, but there is quite a few flaws to it. The fact that I can really see sort of what looks like some dodging and burning issues, and I do find that there's quite a bit of distraction going on with the background, etc. So I think it's worthy of an award, but perhaps where it sits is where I feel comfortable.
Right, a reply to you, Catherine.
Yeah, I'm not bothered at all by the pale clouds, and I feel that the strength of the train also overpowers the logs. They just provide a little bit of context. I still sticking with my silver as a strong image. I didn't see issues with dodging and burning either. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, judges. Please rescore this photograph. And that is a 77. Strong bronze. So, can we have a blank screen, please? And we're going to do a little judge switcheroo. Glenn, take a break. Rebecca, would you like to jump in? And I gathered Jackie and Mike, you actually have to go, so my apologies. I shouldn't have put you in then. Mandy, can you jump on for Jackie? Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Jackie. Come and grab your tags, guys. Oh, no. You got Jackie's tag? Is everybody ready to go? Happy? Can we have the, yep, next print, please? I just recklessly put a perky nana in my mouth. Print scores 73. Thank you, judges. I would love to hear what someone has for feedback. Tim, are you looking at me because have you got some?
I'm going to give it a challenge, if that's okay.
Tim, yeah, you can. Please do.
Yeah, I gave this a 79. I think it's quite a classic, simplistic image. Naturally, the eye does read left to right, and I think initially my brain saw the end of the stem as the start, but then I realised the dandelion, you blow it away. I think it's well handled. The highlights are quite well done, so I think it at least deserves a bronze, and I would be interested to hear what the other judges think.
And do you know I'm going to come to you?
I agree that it is a simplistic. I agree that it is a simplistic image. I just was not particularly moved by the narrative. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have much time there. Yeah.
Russell, do you want to? Oh, sorry. If Rebecca's got something to say. Where were you at, Rebecca?
I scored
Oh,
this
sorry.
in the award range. I scored 76, and the reason for that is I enjoy the the graphic, the graphic nature of it is wonderful. I really like the fact that there's a couple of wishes left on that last stalk. It makes me think that not all the wishes have been, I think of making a wish when I blow the dandelion, and so I think the concept is strong here. The technical is let down slightly. That's why I didn't go any higher, but I still think the concept brings it into award range, and it makes me think of being a kid and blowing away wishes, and still there's some left.
It's back to you then, Tim.
Yeah, I really like the factor you add to the narrative there with making wishes. I think that just strengthens my argument there, and I think we're a couple of points from bronze, and I think it's well handled enough to deserve that bronze, so come on up.
Thank you, judges. If you can please rescore this print. It's currently sitting on 73. Tim wants a bronze and he'll get one. That's a 75. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. That scores a 75, a bronze. Catherine, got something, feedback for the photographer?
This image has a subtle colour palette, and just that little pop of colour really takes your eye where the photographer wants you to go. I think the narrative could have been strengthened with a little more sense of movement. You've got a very dramatic landscape and very static people, particularly the rower, and just maybe the light on them could be a little more dramatic too to match the clouds.
Can I just add something to that?
Real quick, Russell.
Yeah. I mean, it's a flight of fancy. It's really quite beautifully done in lots of ways, but the expressions on the characters are so deadpan that surely a sense of adventure would have represented them really well in this moment.
Thanks very much, judges. Can we have the next print, please? Scores, please, judges. Print scores an 85.
Yes.
Which is a silver with distinction.
I'll talk to
You want to give us a little bit of feedback, Mandy?
I walked back here going, I want this to be a 90. Like, I would have so taken it to gold, except for the handling of the paper in the front, and just you couldn't buy the composition, but the storytelling. Oh my gosh, you are on such a trajectory. I cannot wait to see what you create when you finally nail the details of compositing. I'm very excited to see where you're going to go.
Thank you very much. Can we have a blank screen, please? Russell, you've done very well. Take a break. Glenn, you're up again, buddy. Wonderful. We'll have the next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print score is 76. That is a bronze award. Can I get some feedback for the author? Fresh to the panel, Glenn.
It works really nicely because of its simplicity, you know, the dead centre composition, the limited depth of field's quite lovely. It didn't have the next level of sophistication to go to the next award, but I think what you've done is simple and very effective. Well done.
Thanks very much. Can we have the next print, please? Print score's 78. Catherine's going to give that a challenge.
I gave this 83, solid silver. I find this quite an intriguing image. It's very dark and moody, and has quite a cool colour palette with the greens and the oranges. I think the way they've done these circles in the metal structure, it makes you think of welding and sparks flying, and then the camera's set up to capture this, so it's got a bit of a story that they're running in and out and having quite a lot of fun with it. I'm not sure the black matte is really adding to it. I think maybe the power of it would have really been quite striking against white, but I think the photographer's onto something pretty cool here, and it deserves a silver.
What do you think, Tim?
I was on the lower end here at a 72, and I think I've been a bit harsh on it. I think it is a really well-handled print. It's printed beautifully. The colours are really nice. The blacks have a nice matte tone to them. The only thing that really pulled my eye from the main subjects is the wee green streaks on the left side that just keep pulling me away from the figures in the centre. But I'm listening.
Someone in that bronze range, Glenn?
I was in there on the middle at 78, and I'll come up to 80. I think on sheer X factor alone, it's got a lovely bit of drama to it. Tim, I do hear about those green, but they actually lead me in. So, it kind of breaks even almost on that point, and I quite like, initially I saw the photographer on the left, which frustrated me, but then I saw the other photographer up underneath in close and went, oh, they're even nicely balanced as well. Yeah, let's go a simple silver.
Back to you, Catherine.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think the green, as I sort of alluded to, adds to the story for me, because that's the movement of these people having quite a lot of fun running in and out and doing this thing, and I don't think it competes for your attention. You know exactly where this photographer wants you to look.
Thanks, judges. Can we please rescore this image? It's currently initial score of 78, and we have an 81. That is a silver. Well done. Can we have the next print, please?
We've got a score of 78. That is a really good solid bronze and really even scoring. Amazing. Well done. Who would like to comment to the photographer?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, Rebecca. I might go Rebecca if you like.
Great concept. Colour palette is beautiful. I see butterflies in the books flying around. Unfortunately, just the technicals let it down there, the little compositing with the guy reading, but keep working on it, and yeah, love to see what you've got in the future.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 73. Good, solid professional standard there. We'll accept that. There's very even scoring as well. And who would like to talk to the photographer? Thank you, Catherine.
I think this photographer's had quite a cool play with the graphic nature of this, and hiding the man with his eye right at the top right there is pretty cool. But I feel that the background does compete, though, especially those highlights on the left. That just takes my eye straight there.
It's great talking there, Catherine. Thank you very much. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 83, which is a silver award. And we'll accept that. That's very good silver award, thank you. Who'd like to talk to that? Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, look, strong narrative. I like the way you walk through the image and you gain knowledge from seeing it, which is exactly what's happening in that image. The colour relationships are really powerful, and it's super bold, which I think is why we all jumped straight to silver. Well done.
Brilliant. Thank you, Glenn. That's great. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 77, which is a solid silver. Solid bronze award. But we have a challenge from Mandy. Would you like it?
Yeah.
Could you give us the score too, please, Mandy?
I gave this an 88. This is one of those images that will probably sit with me for my life. It's a moment, the way I read this is it's a moment just blurred, nothing of consequence, and then a moment of trauma, of violence, and then the blurring of the rest of the life after that. And it is probably one of the clearest depictions of like PTSD, of trauma, that I've ever seen. And I think you need to revisit and look at this image again. And the fact that the color palettes, the changing, that this moment in time was so important and is frozen, embedded. It just, yeah, wow, there's a lot of storytelling happening here.
Thank you, Mandy. Catherine, could we hear from you? You're a bit lower down there.
So I gave this a 71. I don't find the narrative very strong. I don't get PTSD. If there's any narrative here, I sort of get that this potentially is a scene where people are just walking through, something very dramatic happens in the centre, and then we go back to people walking through, and there's no evidence of the dramatic thing that happened, and it just looks like a regular scene to people. That's about the strongest narrative I can find in it. I find that the yellow blur on the right-hand side is a real problem for me. It just takes my eye straight there. And the centre one, black and white, maybe they're going gritty with the drama, but it just doesn't feel authentic. It looks very staged.
Thank you, Catherine. Because we've got such a huge middle of the road here, I'd love to go straight through the middle of the road here, which is Rebecca.
I awarded this 78, but I'm listening. I enjoy the graphic nature of the image. I see the narrative around the emotion and the abuse, and I get that. I do feel there was it's a little bit contrived. It's a bit. I think the emotion on the faces in the middle could be a lot more extreme for what is going on there. But I understand the narrative. I just don't feel that power is hitting me due to some of the, seeing the faces. So, but I'm willing to listen.
Okay, thank you. And Mandy, could you bring this home? Do your best.
Sure. But you'd have to go deep into trauma theory to understand why that centerpiece is a frozen moment. Often in abuse situations, you don't have the big dramatic, it's a freezing. And this is a frozen moment in time. And then, Catherine, your point was exactly right. Nothing was happening, and then this trauma, and then it's as if nothing happened to everybody else. But to this person, they're stuck in that center frame. And it's profound. The more I look at this, the more I actually want to go gold. I do see the yellow. That's probably the only reason I wouldn't go gold. But goodness gracious, congratulations to the photographer. Your storytelling is beautiful and tragic.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mandy. So, judges, could we rescore this? I feel so sorry for the photographer right now. We have a score of 79, so we've got a little bit more tenseness to wait. Could we rescore now, judges? You'll have to score the 79, which is the bronze range, or 80. And we have a score of 79. Oh, sorry. One moment. I'm sorry. Mandy, could you put your score in, please? Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Oh, I'll
You
just say it
still-
again. Oh, that's okay. We've still got a review score.
Okay. We have a score of 79. Very, very solid bronze. Congratulations to the photographer. And could we have the next image, please?
Simone, I can't see.
You need to
Can you
release
just
it.
accept the preview?
Oh, do I need to do
Sorry about
My
that.
fault.
No, my bad.
Stand by.
We'll just wait to get this through, and then you'll be good to go. Right, you're good to go now. Who are we missing? Here we go. We have a solid silver at 82. And we have a challenge from Glenn.
This is sublime. This is 88 for me. There's lots to love about it. The placement of that bird is spectacular. The handling, I think, is really world class. We're mostly in agreement that this is very good. That's why it's got the silver. But I think it's just a little bit next level, right down to that subtle palette and tonal range, I think, is glorious. You know, this is, I had to remind myself, this is the student category. We should go higher. Let's talk to me. I'm not too sure what its bad points are. I can see one, but I'm not going to mention it.
Right, I'm going to go to Rebecca now, please. And if you could let you know, ask you to know your score. And
All right, here we go. I was probably a little bit harsh here. My score was 73. The reason I did that, again, I'm all about concept over technique, probably. However, the blacks, there's no detail in the trunk of the tree, which may be that one that Glenn pointed out. I'm looking at my silver card here, and it says very high level of craft, skill and technique. And I just feel if there was some beautiful detail in that trunk and in the branches, that it would just really bring that up. I absolutely, from a distance, I was like, wow, it hit me. Beautiful graphic. The background just fades into these lovely layers in the hills. I will be coming up, but I just think into that silver range is that next level of skill and technique, and I just believe it's being let down by those, by the detail in the blacks is completely gone there.
thank you. I'll first have Catherine, if I could. Thanks, Rebecca.
I gave this 84, which is only 1 point off silver distinction, and I will definitely be coming up. I don't care at all about the lack of detail in the blacks. This is a silhouette. It's a beautiful silhouette, really balanced, really delicate. The image is composed very well with the black, the dark clouds at the top, balanced nicely by the shadows at the bottom. One thing I really enjoy about this is those hills at the back. They are reminiscent of the sort of like a block print, you know, so you've got, it's almost like cut out bits of cardboard, and then you've got the detail in the foliage, and then the richness of the clouds, and then that smoothness of the shadow. It's exquisitely handled.
So, Tim, did you want to add to that?
Oh, no, Catherine covered it.
She did, yeah, cool. Okay, so I think, Glenn, bring it home.
Yeah, it's a silhouette. It needs to be that. If it was anything other, if there was detail in there, it would confuse me. My eyes would go to it. It would break down that very wonderful graphic nature that it has, because there'd be too much detail. This is elegant. This is sophisticated. This is a silver with distinction, please.
Thank you, Glenn. Judges, you could rescore that. Oh my goodness. We have a 86, which is a silver with distinction. Well done. That's fantastic. Well, I'll have a little bit of a breather for a second. Rebecca, oh, sorry. Yeah, could we have a blank screen? Thank you, print handlers. We've got amazing print handlers out the back, some incredible students, which you'll be poking your head around the corner to say thank you soon. Thank you. Rebecca, thank you so much for your time there. That's perfect. Give you a break. Amber, could we get you back in place of where Rebecca was? And Tim, you've done so well. That's brilliant. Thank you very much for your comments. And Sarah Lee, could we have you back in Tim's seat, please? So everyone who's watching, viewing online, we are currently judging the student category, which is sponsored by Lumix. Amazing diversity with these students too. We're seeing some pretty neat stuff going on. You're good to go? You're right there? Great. Can we have the next image, please? We have a bronze at 75. Well done. Again, quite consistent scores there, just within a few points of each other. Would anyone like to talk to the photographer about the print? Otherwise, I'll pick on somebody. I'll pick on Catherine since you waved your hand. Thank you.
The people on the outside are facing out of the frame. That may have been deliberate. They may be turning their back on the dead woman in the centre, but I feel it would be more balanced with them facing in. Also, just watch the highlights. If you squint your eyes, you can sort of see where your eye's going to go, and it's heading straight to that bright part above the deceased woman's head. So just watch those things, and maybe you can come even higher.
Thank you, Catherine. That's great critique there. Could we have the next image, please? We have a very solid very solid bronze at 77. And it looks like it's going to be challenged by Glenn. Thank you, Glenn.
I was up there on 83. What I really liked about this was its simplicity. I love the crop losing the top of the figure. That's awesome. The dog's reaction. But then, of course, it's just all about that detail. And then I just luxuriated in the quality of that black and white print. I just think it's great. It's an old school black and white number that just works. And, you know, I'm not asking for a whole lot. I do think it's worthy of a silver. It has a lovely little story to it. And I think we're a little harsh on the 77. I think we could go up.
Thank you. I'm going to come to the other end here. Could I get Mandy to speak to the print too?
I'm listening.
Okay, no, that's cool. I might, Sarah Lee, you were reasonably, a few points off where Mandy was.
Okay, I gave this a 75. I agree with the beautiful quality of the black and white and the really powerful crop across the shoulders. I find my attention is drawn between the beautiful catch of the mud under the feet, the dog's eyes staring straight at me, and that watch for some reason keeps holding me there, and the watch isn't part of the narrative, and unfortunately it just keeps distracting me. But apart from that, I think beautiful. Yeah.
No, that's great. Thank you. Thanks, Sarah Lee and Amber. You're great. Yeah.
I just wholeheartedly agree with Glenn on this. I scored it a silver, and I'm going to go up to a higher silver because it just makes me want to chuck on my red bands and embrace my inner Peppa Pig and go and stomp in some muddy puddles. And I just really love the expression on the dog's face. The watch, it sort of annoyed me at first, but then I realised that it was like balanced by the plaster on his other arm. So
Yeah, it's all good.
I just think it's really good, and I think you should come up.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Amber, that was really good. And Glenn, just you.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of good things have been said. The watch is a little bit frustrating, but it's reality, and reality never bothers me that much. So look at the way the mud is hanging off those boots. It's fantastic. If the photographer went to Red Band, they'll be all over this image. It is spectacular. It's iconic. It's Kiwi. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Judges, can we get you to put your scores in? Ooh, you've done it, Glenn. We've got it to a silver. 81. Congratulations. Well done, Glenn. That's great. Thank you. Could we please have the next image? We've got a bronze at 76. Congratulations. And anyone like to talk to the print and talk to the photographer about their image? Otherwise, yeah, thank you, Amber.
Yeah, sure. I think that this is a lovely representation of a dancer. I think that the things that would strengthen this image are to think about, I find the lighting a little bit flat, and muscularity is so important to dancers that if you think about using slightly more three-dimensional lighting to enhance their muscularity, that would help, and also think about the styling of that skirt. But really lovely image, well done.
Thank you, Amber. That's great. Could we have a blank screen, please? We're going to do a little bit of a judge switch. Catherine, thank you so much. We'll give you a bit of a break now. Much appreciated. Russell, could I pop you in where Catherine was there? Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
So we're currently judging the student category, sponsored by Lumix. To everyone online, we've got some great images that we're looking at here too with students. Just waiting for one more login. The good thing is that we can all hear. It was pretty noisy earlier today, wasn't it? Insane. So yeah, this is so much easier. All good to go? Brilliant. Could we have the next image, please? Thank you. Good to get the scores and judges. Thank you. We have a score of 76, which is a solid bronze. And congratulations, Bronze Award. Well done. Who'd like to talk to the motorbike? Thank you, Glenn.
Classic portrait. Really enjoy what's going on with the figure. A little bit tight top and bottom, but it just sort of, the character exudes out of it. Well done.
Thanks, Glenn. Could we have the next image, please? Right, we have a score of 79, which is a very high bronze. Very high bronze. And I think we're going to get a challenge here.
Yeah, I'd like to. I just took it into silver. Excuse me. Beautiful black and white, but it's really clever how they've done this. And to use the same subject matter and treat it in a different way and create that symmetry and balance and, for me, believability is quite exquisite, really, and it's just a lovely image to look at. And I think it's worthy of a silver, personally.
Thank you. Anyone on the lower end like to talk? Let's go. Amber? Thank you.
I also scored this in the silver range. I think it's a shot of something that's been photographed a million times before, but it's done in quite an original way, and I just deeply appreciate the way that the landscape matches up. I think it's beautifully handled, and I definitely think I'm actually going to come a little bit higher, and I think that it deserves to be a solid silver.
Cool. I made a bit of a mistake there. I should have asked someone who was a little bit lower before you, Amber.
Sorry.
So no, it's my bad there. Sarah, I'm going to be a bit mean to you. Could you let us know why you kept it at a bronze?
Yeah, I put this as a 76, and it was probably a little bit tough. I agree with the comments that have already been said. I found it quite conflicting in the asymmetry and the symmetry side of things. I want to know why the centre image is larger if the last image has the figure in it. Like, those two, I think, sort of compete for attention. But like I said before, yeah, there's actually more to it than I initially scored, so I'm going to come up.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah Lee. Russell, would you like to add your
Now
last?
that we've had longer to look at it, excuse me, gruff today. Now that we've had longer to look at it, the complexity that you've just mentioned has given us a bit more time to take that in and admire it. That the central image leads us to a point, and the other ones lead to it as well. So if you take that point, they join in an apex somewhere in the distance. You know, the comment that they've melded the background together so beautifully in itself is extremely clever. And I think, why would you want the figure in the middle? It would be just passé. The fact that they're in the one on the right just gives us a nice feeling of negative space on the left. And it's visually quite stunning, and it's extremely clever. I wish I could raise my score, to be honest. I think it deserves a solid silver.
Thank you, Russell. Judges, can we get you to rescore that, please? We have a solid silver at 84. Congratulations. Well done. That's brilliant. Thank you for that, Russell. Could I have the next image, please? Who are we missing there? Oh no, we've got you all. We've got a bronze at 77. And that, you're happy with that? Are you wanting to challenge that, Sarah Lee, or are you happy with the score?
Can challenge.
You can challenge.
I'll be crazy.
Totally, you're right there.
I love the storyline of the segregation of the fruit and the poor blue crying apple. That's all alone. I think the colours really pop and it's really commanding. If I was to improve anything, I think a little bit more negative space either side. I think it's just a little too tight cropping. But I think the originality of it is stellar.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah Lee. That's not nice, short, concise talk. Russell,
Sorry.
how's your shortness going?
Sorry, I gave it an 80.
Thank you.
I gave it a 70. I've found the cropping a little bit clumsy, really. It's sort of cute, but is it that much more?
Thank you. Really, you were short. I've never heard you talk so short. I might just go to the middle of the road here. Anyone want to, is it around the middle of the scores? Let's have a look.
Sure. Middle of the road.
Yeah.
I was there on 75. it's like there was an interesting idea that needed to be explored, but it was explored in such a simple way that it sort of extracts from the power of what the idea is. So it's oversimplified, and that just, it leaves me a little bit cold rather than explores that idea of, the isolation that I'm starting to feel.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Oh, Amber?
I scored this an 80, and now that I've sat with it for a little bit, I actually feel like I want to come up. To me, this image is a fantastic commercial example of an idea, and the idea, I think, is about individualism. The fact that the blue apple, which is obviously a very individual and weird apple, has dewdrops or sweat or tears or whatever you want to call it on it, the fact that all the other green apples are just kind of leaning away from it almost, like I just feel like they're so personified, and I feel like that is the reason for the crop being off-centre. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the more that I look at it, the more personification I see, and I really like it, so I'm probably going to go a slightly higher silver.
Thank you, Amber. And Sarah Lee, do you want to bring this home too?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Amber in that it is, a very clean, commercialised take on the concept. So.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Could we all rescore that? Thanks, judges. We've made a silver at 80. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. Could we have the next image, please? Might get these scores in, judges. Score is, have we got more? Yep, the score is 76. Bronze award. We'll accept that. Thank you very much. And can I hear from Russell?
Sure. Some sort of attempt at a thought of a resting time, I guess, stopping time. But I quite liked the fact that the birds flying sort of represent movement, which is the carriage of time. So there's some quite nice little ideas in there, and quite enjoyed it.
Thank you, Russell. That's great. And could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 73, which is a solid professional practice. We'll accept that. Thank you very much. I might get someone like Mandy. Could you give us a bit of a word about that?
Sure. I love the delicacy that you've used in this. The challenge is because of the color palette of the flowers that you chose to accentuate the dog, it all gets a bit mushy and it blends together. If you had chosen a different collection of flowers, it would have really elevated this particular image, I believe.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mandy. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 71, which is a professional practice. Thank you for that, judges. You're all very, very consistent there. Anyone like to talk to the photographer about the image? Thank you, Russell.
I just couldn't tie in the mischievousness of the character in the background, which is created perhaps by the individual in the forefront, and the fact that the tail sort of comes out of his head. Possibly it's coming from his thoughts and they're joined, but it's visually distracting.
Okay, no, thanks, Russell. That's. I'm sure they'll take note of what you said there. That's great, thank you. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 77, which is a very middle of the road, solid bronze. Thank you very much. We'll accept that. That's a really fantastic bronze. Congratulations. And Glenn, could we hear from you, please?
Yeah, just a couple of quick comments. Like, I think it's a really solid effort. I think it's a great pet portrait. There's two little things that I find a bit niggly, and it's the red collar is a little distracting as that colour against the neutrality of everything else. And also the eyes are not quite as sharp as the nose.
Thanks, Glenn. That's really good critique there. Cool. And could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 73. Thank you very much. Professional standard there. We'll accept that. And could I hear from, let's have a look. Yeah, thank you, Glenn. You're doing good.
I quite enjoyed the old classic hut there, but there was too much in the foreground. It was a little cluttered in the foreground, and I wasn't rewarded when I walked into that door, and I wanted to see something there. It wasn't quite there.
Rightio. Yeah. Thanks very much, Glenn. That's great. Could we have the next image? Sorry. We're just going to have a blank screen, please. Thank you. I'm getting too far ahead of myself here. We're going to do a little bit of a judge switch around. Yeah. Glenn, we'll give you a bit of a break now. Thank you very much for everything you've done there. Tim, can we pop you in where Glenn was? Thank you. And Thank you. Mandy, we'll give you a bit of a break too. Thank you very much for your hard work there. And we're putting in Rebecca. Yeah. Rebecca, could you pop you in Mandy's seat, please? Get you to log in there. Thank you. You logged in there? Yep. Girls and boys, brilliant. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 76, which is a bronze award. And we're happy with that. You have to make a decision. Yeah, okay, we'll take that challenge, Rebecca. Thank you. You took your time. So.
Sorry. Sorry, dinner is nearly here. It's all about food. I scored this an 81. Just made me smile. Just thinking about that lady. I think it's been beautifully captured. I love her ears. I think she has like 2 ears. I feel that she's just been through so much in her life. She's seen so much. She has these incredible expressions that really draw you in. I do think the middle image is the strongest of all three of them, but I don't think that's a reason to bring it down. I think it's a beautiful portrait of probably quite a funny lady as well. I think she's got humour, she's got spark, it's been well handled. Yeah, come up to silver. I think she's great.
Thank you. Russell, could we hear from you and your score?
I scored at 72, and the two images on the left are stronger than the one on the right, but as a triptych they don't go. I mean, the maudlin mood coming from the one on either side of the lovely expression in the middle just don't add up, don't tell a story. There's no progression there that makes any sense. Yes, they've been nicely taken, but I think it's not a triptych. And I'll be staying where I am at 72.
Brilliant. Thank you, Russell. And thanks, Sarah Lee.
I scored this 79, and the story that I read into it is a little old lady who's had a stroke, so she's got the lopsided expression on the two outside images, and she's staring at the person taking a photo in the middle. She's been asked to smile, so she's grinning as best as she can. And then the far end, she's just sort of relaxed, and she's looking more forlorn because she knows that photo is probably not the most beautiful photo, you know, of herself in her life, and it says so much about where she is in the state, or in her generation, and just the experience that a person of that age bracket goes through when being photographed.
Thank you very much, Sarah Lee. Amber, were you raising your eyebrows at me? Or
Yeah, I have to say I scored at 74, and I just feel more the way that Russell does with this one. I just can't get over the fact that the lighting, especially on the first two images, really highlights her neck, and I just think that the lighting is really not doing this lady any favours, which is why I would find it hard to bring into an awards range.
Okay, thank you. Come on, Rebecca, see how you go.
I still love it. I don't know, you really not meant to say that, but I actually feel that there's a humorous aspect. I think the end image, is almost put on, like she's she's being funny. It's like a sarcastic kind of, like, oh, go on, take another photo type thing. I love the expressions. I love seeing the different expressions. I love seeing the emotion on her face. I just think if that was my nana, I'd be really proud to have that on my wall.
Thank you, Rebecca. Judges, could we get you to rescore this, please? You've raised it at a point, Sarah. We've got a solid bronze award. Sorry, Rebecca. We've got a solid bronze award. Congratulations. Fantastic. Could we have a blank screen, please? Oh,
That was just me shuffling.
that was actually my mistake. Sorry. We'll just go back to the next image. So could we have the next image, please? Thank you. How you going, judges? We have a score of 80, which is a solid, well, it's a great silver. Silver award, congratulations. Thank you, we will accept that. Could I have a word from Tim? Can we have a word from you? I haven't heard from you for a while.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This image has a great humour to it. I think a lot of the judges, as we approached the image, had a wee giggle to ourselves. I think it's well handled, and the photographer's done a really good job sharing a light-hearted narrative. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's brilliant, Tim. Cool. Could we have the next image, please? We have a score of 78, which is a solid bronze award. And we will accept that. That is a very good solid bronze award. Oh, yeah, thank you. Brilliant. Fantastic. And could we have a word from you? Thank you, Russell.
Really enjoyed it, but I find the light flying around everywhere, and the light in the foreground, I just don't understand the source of it, and possibly took my eye away from all the neat sort of stuff that's going on in the middle.
Thank you, Russell. I'm sure the photographer will really appreciate that. Thank you very much. That was the last of the prints. We'll be working into the digital now, so we're going to have a little bit of a time for a short changeover. Just before that, though, hey, you print handlers, you students, we'd love to see you out here because a lot. If, you don't need to come out if you're shy, but we'd love to say thank you, us judges, and yeah, we'll just turn the. Sorry. Come on out, guys. We want to see your faces. Everyone wants to see who you are, especially the judges. Because, yeah, woo! Awesome. Yeah. Come on. Couple more left. Thank you, guys. You do an amazing job out there. You keep us on our toes too. So we're just going to do a quick change around with setting up the digital.
While we're doing that, should we swap Catherine and Sarah Lee, and Sarah Lee can have dinner?
Yeah, cool. You heard that, Sarah Lee? Thank you. So don't be too long. Maybe if you can just grab it maybe and do what Catherine's done maybe just in case. It won't take too long.
Can we just grab a piece of pizza?
Yeah.
While this is being done?
That's exactly what we'd love you to do. Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Lee, thank you very much. I think we're going to be popping Catherine in straight after. So we'll be able to... Yeah, cool. Thank you. That's brilliant. So everyone who's viewing this online, we're just having a bit of a changeover now. We're just about to go to the digital entries. So we're just the judges are just grabbing and filling their faces, and so is everyone else. I think just out the
judge room.
Yeah. So the student category has been sponsored by Lumix. So thank you so much to Lumix for this. We've really enjoyed the so far. Print, we're looking forward to seeing the digital entries now.
Catherine, you can jump into Sarah Lee's seat whenever you're ready. You don't have to right this second, but...
So if everyone's still looking and watching and wondering what's happening online at the moment, we're just having a few minutes break while we set this up. And quite often with the judging scores, there's different levels of judging. Obviously with the levels that go from, say, bronze to silver. So bronze goes from 75 to 79. That means they've won a bronze award, which means it's a very high standard of professional practice, craft, skill and technique, and exceeds the normal expected of professional practice. So that's what the judges are looking for when they want to put it into the bronze award. The silver is from 80 to 84, which means it's a higher level of imagination and creativity, and it's a high level of visual communication, interpretation of subject and or emotion. Very high level of craft, skill and technique. So this is what the judges are thinking about when they want to go into silver. The next score range up is 85 to 89, which is a silver with distinction, and it's a pretty hard one to get into actually, because there's only 4 points out of 100 that you're going to get this. Actually, no, there's 5, I lie. And what a silver with distinction means: excellent level of imagination and creativity, excellent visual communication, interpretation of subject and or emotion, excellent level of technique, craft, production and print quality. So that's what the judge is looking for if they're going to award a silver with distinction. So we've got this in front of us, and so have the judges, but obviously everyone out there hasn't got that to look at who are watching online. A gold is from 90 to 94, which starts to go really out there. It's outstanding level of imagination and creativity, outstanding visual communication, interpretation of subject and or emotion, originality of thought concept, outstanding mastery across all areas of technique, craft, production and print quality. Very rarely there might be a gold with distinction, which is 95 to 100, and this has got huge amounts of words, so it shows how hard it's going to be. It's exceptional vision, creativity and innovation, exceptional visual communication and interpretation of subject, high level of originality of thought and concept, invokes a superior emotional response and has an enduring quality, and also exceptional mastery in all areas of creative and technical execution. So that's the levels of judging and levels of awards that the judges are looking for when they're looking to score. Now you're going to listen to the Jace. He's going to be, the Jace is coming on. The Jace with, oh yeah, bare feet. Middle of winter, here we go.
explain myself. I've been trying for years. All right, judges, how you feeling? Scoffed a piece of pizza or two. So we'll start swapping you soon, so you can have a bit more. Get indigestion. Are you ready for the first digital entry? Then that one. Yeah. Please judge this photograph. You may tilt the screen. Thank you, judges. Print scores a 75. That is a bronze award, and Catherine is going to give that a nudge.
I gave this an 82 silver. I think this, the narrative of the story, the message of the story just leaps immediately out to the viewer. This man is wearing a mask for all the wrong reasons. Very Breaking Bad. And I think the photographer has had a bit of fun playing with gels and lights to add to the mood of the environment, and has thought of put a lot of attention to detail into this, with the red-rimmed eyes and so on. So I think it's been well handled, and I'm rewarding the storytelling here.
Thank you, Catherine. I would love to hear from someone at the other end, either Tim or Russell.
Good, no, you go.
Tim's going for it.
I give this image a 72. I think conceptually it's there. However, I just think technicality, it let it down. My eye keeps getting pulled to the aqua gel in the front, and also just on the skin tones of his face. It goes from dark purple on the left side and then more into the orange on the right side. So I'm happy to come up, but I don't think I could go into the silver range just because of the technicality.
Anything to add from the middle? Amber, maybe? No? No, you don't have to say something.
I don't feel like I've really got anything else to add.
Cool. We'll come back to Catherine.
I'm not bothered at all by the skin tones. I feel that that is it makes perfect sense given the surrounding colours. So we're on a 75. Let's just give this photographer a few more points. Maybe I'm pushing it uphill to get it into a silver range, but I'd like to see this as a more solid bronze. Thanks.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore the image. Sitting on 75 at present.
Broken it.
Scores coming in.
Thanks.
And it will end up at a 78. That is a solid bronze. Wonderful. Can we have the next image, please, Simone? Oh, a comment. Oh, no, we had a discussion. Next image, please. Other button. Other keyboard. So it takes us a little bit to change gears. We've been pizzaed. Thank you, judges. That print scores 75, which is a bronze award. I would love a comment for the benefit of the photographer. Russell's got one.
I really, I was going to say enjoy, I'm not going to say that. I really reacted to the genteel nature of this image, and she's quite beautiful, and the mood's great. Distracted, unfortunately, by a little entrance into the whole image on the bottom left there, and just the tonality of her dress in the background suited that, but I just didn't understand the negative space on the left.
Thanks, Russell. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. The print score is a 74. It's just outside the bronze range. Everyone's happy with that. Can I have a comment from Catherine, please?
I think this is a professional standard capture. It's pretty well done. I think to take it into an award range, we would need more separation of the subject from the background. It's really quite a cluttered image. The rider's getting lost against the background there. And we've also got the distraction of the foreground, unfortunately. So perhaps more panning would have done it, but it's just a little too cluttered.
Thanks, Catherine. Quick judge change. Tim, do you want to take a break? I was going to put Glenn in, but he just vanished into thin air. Sarah Lee, would you mind hopping on instead? Ready to go? Can we have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. All right, the print has an initial score of 83. This challenge available. Rebecca's going to give it a go.
I think wow. I think pop. I think graphic. I feel the fiery red, is it on fire, against the beautiful palette of the pastels in the background makes that tree pop. For me, this is a piece of art. I'd love this on my wall. I love the circle crop. I think that really adds to the image. I think perfectly centered. Come up with me. I've got silver distinction here at 88. I think we need to reward the photographer for providing, a narrative around the green tree. You've got it on fire, the palette, the graphic nature of it. Stunning. Well done.
Sarah Lee was at the other end. I'd like to come to you next.
I gave this a 74, and I may have been too harsh with it. I do love just how simple it is. I love the movement in the top half. What I find quite distracting is that the trunk is the sharpest part, and that points down to the hot white spot at the bottom, which has quite a lot of banding in it. But apart from that, the colour palette is absolutely gorgeous.
Russell, you were indicating you're a bit sort of supporting there in the silver distinction range.
Yep. All the things that have been said already, I kind of like the little swoops amongst the red as well. It sort of gives it a kind of like a coiffed sort of feeling, almost if it's had its hair brushed. But it's quite beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to lift my score actually. I'm on 85 and I'd like to lift up a bit.
Back to Rebecca. Wrap it up.
This is an abstract. It is a piece of art. The photographer has nailed it technically. I don't feel that the sharpness in the trunk or the whites, any of those elements have any bearing on bringing it down. I feel that the photographer needs to be rewarded for technique, conceptual, everything. Stunning.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore this, and we'll see if we can go from 83 to maybe a silver with distinction. And we have an 86. Silver with distinction. Great chat, team. We'll have the next image. Thank you, judges. Love some initial scores.
Hang on, mate. Sorry. Back this page.
All right, we have an initial score of 76. There's a challenge available for Rebecca again. You going to give it a go? Go on.
Must be on a roll. The narrative here is very strong. I sit on a score of 82. It goes from dark to light. There's so much in that. This guy has obviously carried the weight of the world on his shoulder. I think that's where it's going. The small figure out of focus in the first image shows perhaps he's not happy with his body. He's going to the gym. In the second image, things are getting a bit lighter. The image is lightening up, and in the third image, he's there. He's where he wants to be emotionally, physically, on top of the world, on top of a mountain. I think it has a really, really strong narrative. I think it's been reasonably well executed. Yes, there's probably a few technicals in there that could bring it higher, but I think it deserves, for the narrative alone, a silver there. Yeah, come up with me.
Thanks, Rebecca. Russell, I'm going to have to come to you, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm on 70. Narrative alone, and I'm starting to get tired of that word we use, it's thrashing it to death,
Sorry.
but narrative alone is not enough. This is a photographic competition, Sure, there's some sort of story there, but it's not being carried out that well. The Photoshop's not that great. It doesn't even look like he's holding those spheres. The last figure's foreshortened. His body hasn't changed. There's an idea there, but it just hasn't been carried out very well. The bubble in the middle one, there's a sign next to his head, and it's not really telling that much of a story that well, really.
Thanks, Russell. Catherine, you're pretty in the average range, aren't you? Yeah. Well, not personally.
Thank you. Thanks, Jace. I gave this a 75, so I squeaked it into the bronze for the narrative, Russell. However, Russell, I hate to say this, but I do kind of regret that. I think this photographer had a cool concept, but the execution is letting it down, and I'm not convinced of my own score at a bronze. I feel that central image of the guy just kind of walking out, as you say, he's got a sign by his head, but also the image itself it's not a great photograph. And then that inclusion of the bright ski outfit on the last frame, to me detracts a lot from the cohesion of the colour palette. I get that it's bright and he's happy and everything, but it's quite jarring as well. It didn't really need to be. Everything else, it was already going lighter, you already had the expression.
Thanks, Catherine. Looks like it's back to Rebecca then.
Do you have to change your body physically to feel better in your head about how you are and where you are in the world mentally? No is the answer. And that's why he hasn't changed. But his outlook on life has changed. The sign next to his head in the middle is going to the gym. If that wasn't there, we probably may not. So it's slightly obvious, but there for a reason. I think it's worthy of silver. I think, yes, technically, that's why it's not going into silver distinction or gold, but how many points do you take away from gold for that? I think the story is around self-esteem. I think that's really important these days. It's a man, not a woman. Traditionally, perhaps women are seen to have these issues more than men, which is completely wrong. So I think it's great that this is a man, not a woman. I think there's a lot to be seen in this. Yes, technically, a little bit let down there, but I'm asking for a silver, not a gold.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, judges. Please rescore this image. Sitting on a bronze. See where it ends up. And 76, bronze. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. Print scores 75. That is a bronze award. I would love to have some feedback for the photographer, Russell. Sure.
This is gorgeous. She's gorgeous. The hands are clumsy, though. Just the posing of the hands, a little bit more attention to that would give it an elegance that I think would have lifted it emotionally for all of us. It's quite beautiful in every other way.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. Print score 76. That is a bronze award. We're happy with that. Comment for the author's benefit, Sarah Lee.
I think this is a beautiful story about the changing intentions and the changing toys of the younger generation, how it shifted from more traditional toys through to modern technology. I do question whether the blue gel actually adds anything to the storyline, and perhaps more negative space around it would create more of the impact of the subjects in there.
Thanks very much. We're going to have a quick pause. Have a little judge swap. Catherine and Amber, thank you so much. You're both wonderful. Can we have Glenn and Mandy hop in? You are also both wonderful. When we're all ready to go, we'll have the next image, please, Simone. And we've got an initial score of 80. We do have a bit of a range of scores there. Does anyone? You can't? But, Mandy can.
Okay, I will. I'll start. You back me up, babe. All right. I'm trying to take this into silver distinction. I gave it a 86, and I actually think I was mean the more I look at it. Just how beautifully seen, and the control of the color palette, and a spider's web represented in such an interesting way. The graphic nature of it, oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. It's yummy. Tell me what's wrong with it, because it's creative. Just, I don't see why that's not a silver distinction.
Rebecca, do you?
Right. Probably a little harsh in at 73 there. However, the colour palette for the last image doesn't seem to add up. And that big blob, all I see is that big blob in the last image there, and it's just hitting me, it's jumping out at me, and it's all I see. When I look at that, it's all I see. I can appreciate the technicals, and the colour palette in the first image is stunning. I think the first two images are really strong, but the third one, just see the big dot. Someone help me out here.
Thanks,
Happy
Rebecca.
to come up for sure.
Russell's gagging to get in there.
So, silver distinction, excellent level of imagination and creativity, great visual communication, interpretation of subject and emotion, excellent level of technique. So the slew of colours is just a beautiful part of its graphic, but the depth of field, the sharpness of that web, the ability for us to walk up to it. This is an image that actually rewards you when you walk close to it. When you walk back, perhaps you might be distracted by that orb, but it's not about that. It's about walking up and seeing the fragility of it and the daintiness of it and the actual representation of something in nature that's really quite beautiful. And then, that story we saw in the dandelion before, I mean, this is that story taken to another level. And it's a beautiful piece of art, and its technique's fabulous. And to me, I'll be lifting my score into distinction because I was certainly miserly at 83.
All right, I think we're back to the right of reply, Mandy.
Right.
Bring us home.
Right. So your comment was around the color palette changing towards the end, but you see in the first lot it is strong. You've got the punchy color, but you also have the strong web. But then you see the degrading aspect of the web reflected in the degrading aspect of the color palette, and then the blob That's probably the spider coming for you, which is why you ended up feeling really disconcerted by the blob. And I think that adds to the storytelling. And come on, silver distinction.
Thank you, judges. Great discussion. Can we please have a little rescore? Sitting on 80 currently, and
Stupid Max.
we have an 83. That is a strong silver. Well done. Congratulations to the photographer. We'll have the next image. Scores, please.
Trying to get used to the computers.
No, wait, don't type anything yet. Hold on.
No swatting between the judges.
So why do I have to wait for you?
Because I can't do it if you've gone. Okay, go.
Oh, it's like trying to pee when someone's looking, you reckon?
Yep.
Okay, Prince scores 81, which is a silver, but there is a challenge available. Mandy, when you compose yourself, can you indicate whether you would like to take the challenge, please?
No, I won't. But I wanted to see this in a print. Oh, this would have been so yummy as a print. And I think that had it gone to a print, okay, I'll take the challenge. It's so yummy, it's so yummy. Where are we at? We're at we're already at a silver. Okay.
You're in the silver distinction.
I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna take the challenge, but I will say to the.
Quiet in the audience, please.
Okay. No, I can't because
It's a
had it been printed, it would have been a silver distinction. This is just such beautiful composition, such gorgeous symmetry, but it just didn't resonate with that because of the fact that it was an electronic version of it. Yes. Okay, I'll take the challenge. I'll challenge that. Let somebody else.
Look, I just want to. All I'm going to say is we can't penalise it for being a digital entry.
Okay.
So judge it as a digital entry. That's what's been presented. That meets the criteria for this.
Okay, I will talk to it.
Okay,
Sorry,
great.
Guys. Sorry, everybody listening and the poor photographer. This is beautiful. Well seen, well captured, the symmetry. Anyway, now somebody else talk to it and then I can compose myself.
Glenn, you're in the bronze range. Would you like to?
Yeah, look, I was there on 77, and what I liked about it was its initial impact. I really jumped at that one. Yep, I love that. That works. A treat. Wanted to get up close. When I got up close, it lacked some of the believability, and then scale started to come into play, and it lost its believability, and then it started to crumble for me. Also, the placement of that back foot, I was like, oh, I wish that didn't disappear into nothingness. Yeah, so I mean, 77, and I'm actually happy that it went up to the 81. Good with that, but I don't want to go too far.
All right, someone who was in the silver range, Russell or Sarah Lee. Sarah Lee.
It's an incredibly striking image. I scored it at 84. I really love. I think the play of scale works. I think we've got a really small human figure isolated in an expanse of man-made construction, and I agree with the foot that's missing, and I also wonder if the hat is not detracting from it because it changes the human silhouette, and yeah, I think it deserves a silver, no more, no less.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. Back to you, Mandy.
I think we'll leave it there.
Okay. An unusual discussion, if ever I've seen one, but I would like to hear, I would like you to rescore, please, and we'll see what happens. Sitting on 81 at present. Mandy was hoping for a distinction. We get an 82, which is a solid silver. Congratulations to the author. Can we have the next image, please? I don't want to labour the point, but just to remind you, we're here to judge what is before us. These are digital entries, not to be compared with prints. Thank you, judges. Print scores 76. That is I need a decision. Go on. Rebecca's going to challenge it.
I scored this an 82 in silver. The narrative is very strong. There's someone in the background there that wants to get to the honey pot that is spilt, which is very, very obvious what is going on here. But I think it's been well thought out, very deliberate. I like how the girl is walking. Her expression is real and has showing what is going on. The man in the background, his face is blurred. He's anonymous. He doesn't want to be seen. He wants to get to her without being known to anybody. It's on a busy road, but it's in a park. I mean, it's all very obvious here. But I just wanted to applaud the photographer for bringing to the forefront quite a frightening issue for women these days, walking through a park on their way home from work. I think it's been reasonably well executed. Black and white would have probably added to it, but yeah, I think it's worth a silver there.
Andy, at the other end of the scale, Sarah Lee. Then?
I'll talk. I was there at 77, and the reason I sat down there was I felt there was there was something really interesting about the sinister nature of the bloke behind, but I don't think I needed to be led down the honeypot path. It was already the story was already there. Bloke in the dark, gorgeous lady walking home late. It was all there. It was all there. Once the honeypot got thrown in there, it was over communicated. There was no subtlety in that. Plus the headlights of the car in the background. No, leave the woman alone if she's alone with that bloke. But cars all over the place and lots of other people around break that narrative again. So it's ended up where I think it deserves to be.
Back to you, Rebecca. Or did you Russell wanted to jump in?
Just quickly, the photographer's done a great job in composing, and creating this image. But just for me, I've heard of edge tension, but the honey's so close to the edge as well, just kind of took it away from me. I didn't understand the honey actually, and I'm still not sure that honey pot thing worked. I don't know, but anyway, yeah.
Rebecca?
I won't go into too much graphic detail about what the honey pot is. Russell?
Well, I know what it bloody is.
I'll let you decide that. I think sitting right near the edge of the frame there is, is it out of reach for this guy? Is it not? There's a lot of what ifs. It is mysterious. It is in the middle of a busy road. This does happen. It happens it happens in broad daylight. I think the narrative is so strong here, and it is very obvious, but I think it's kind of gone over the top, which I quite like. I think it's added that extra kind of graphic, almost pornographic type value to it, which is a bit extreme, but that's what it's about for that guy that, yeah. Anyway,
All right,
I'm
judges? Cool.
staying at silver.
Great. If we can please rescore this image. Currently on 76, which is a bronze award. And with that chat, we've got a 78, a very strong bronze. Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? Let's try and keep those discussions nice and concise, team, to the point. Not weird. Some scores would be great. Thank you, judges. Print, initial score of 79. Russell's got a challenge. She's going to take it.
Yep, cheers. Excuse me. I took it into the low silvers, 82. I don't need to tie all those images together and what he's actually doing. I just see it as a wonderful expression of wellness, health and vitality. Jealous, but that's okay. Yeah, he's just a lovely young man who's in a great stage of his life, and each image has been beautifully lit and presented to us, and it's a nice graphic and a nice piece of communication for me. Low silver.
Thank you. Everyone else actually scored it the same, so it's all up to you. So Glenn's going to have a chat. Great.
Right, so I was on 78, and the reason I didn't go any higher with this was just because I felt that changing, like it's such a graphic, straightforward approach, but that changing horizon line in the background really annoyed me. And some of the lighting for me worked really well on some of the images, but then I look at image 1 and I look at image 6, and the lighting really doesn't work in those. The figures kind of stood back into the shadows comparatively. So that's why I've given it the solid bronze that I think it deserves.
Thanks, Glenn. If no one else is... Mandy? No, if no one else is itching to contribute, then I'll come back to Russell.
Stuff you all.
Can you please behave respectfully to your fellow judges, Russell?
It's, what is
He
it?
said that with love, I could tell.
79.
Oh, 79, for God's sake. Actually, mate, to be honest with you, I disagree with you. I've just gone and had a close look. I mean, the highlights are exactly where they're meant to be in the image in number 6. Number 1's perfectly lit. I see no problem with it whatsoever. The horizon line, okay, let's just call that a little bit different, as are the poses. But it's not a distraction per se. It's not a disparate sort of part of the total presentation. Perhaps, if anything, if all those horizon lines matched up, it might have been a little bit cliched, So I think there's vitality there and variety and wellness, and you're only 1 point away from... We have to do the in or out anyway, don't we?
We have to do the in or out,
Yeah.
yes. But
So
let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll see what happens in
If we're
the
talking about honeypots,
next scoring round. If you can please rescore this image.
He doesn't have one.
No, but we can get
Just
it
so
in,
you
though.
know.
Okay, Russell. Thank you, Russell. Well, please rescore the image.
Okay, thank you.
Behave yourself.
I do want to come back. Oh, is it an 80? It's not.
You
it's
can
not-
score it the same that you scored it last time,
Oh, I
Russell.
have to, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah, can you put it... you've popped it in? Thank you, the old presenter. And we have an 80. That's a silver award. It's enough innuendo for one night. We'll have the next image, please. Just keeping it respectful, please, among the judges. Even jokingly disrespectful is... We prefer if you avoid. Oh, sorry guys. That's a 75, which is a bronze award. Someone got a constructive comment. Thank you, Rebecca.
The decisive moment has been captured very well by the photographer. Well done. I think the crop could have come in a little bit tighter there. The hero of the image is the baby looking up, so a little bit cropped a bit tighter there, but beautiful moment. Well done.
Thanks very much. Next image, please. Can we judge the image on the main screen, not on the TV, please?
I need to understand.
I need to understand. No, you don't. No, you do not.
We have an initial score of 78, and Rebecca is going to challenge that for sure.
I scored this an 88 in silver distinction. This is insane. This actually could be insanity in an image right there. The graphic quality of the image is fabulous. It pops out. The colour palette is incredible. The aqua blues and the oranges. This is a piece of art. Yes, it's repetition. Do we have to understand what's in there? Not really. I think that it's more a fine art piece. I think it's fabulous. Well done to the photographer for putting this together so well. It's well executed. If you want to go into the technicals, there's incredible detail in the warm colours and the little archways and everything like that. I like the central part that goes right through, draws your eye up and then around. You get to travel around the image easily with your eye. Well done. I'm on silver distinction. Come up.
Thanks, Rebecca. Russell wasn't quite there, among others.
I'm on 73, and I think I've totally blown it. I think you're right. I just didn't understand it, but everything you said I concur with, so I'll be lifting into your area.
Someone in that bronze range, Mandy, Glenn?
Yeah, sure. I do quite like the reality that Rebecca and I faced when I said, I just need to understand, and you said, no, you don't. I love that reality. You know, that comment enough is enough. Oh, and the great use of orange, obviously, is enough to drag me up into an 80. I'll go there.
Thanks, team. Back to Rebecca to round it out.
This can go on your wall. You will love it forever. You will look at it. It will give you emotion. It will give you pop. It will make you feel something. You can look at it for ages and see where the lines go. You can travel around. It's beautiful. It's stunning. Let's reward the photographer for putting this together. Well done.
Thanks, judges. Please rescore this image. Currently on a strong silver of 78. Rebecca's looking for more. And she'll get an 84, a very strong silver. No reflection on anything that just happened, but we're going to have a little judge change. Russell and Rebecca, you've both done a stellar effort. You must be tired after all that talking. Catherine and Amber, please jump back in. We would love to have you back on the panel. And when you are ready, Can we have the next image, please? I'm still waiting for someone. And that was it. We have an initial score of 74, which is a strong professional standard. Can I have some? You've got a. Yeah, you're going to challenge it?
I'll
Go
challenge
on,
it,
do
yeah.
it, Amber.
Okay, so I gave this a 79 because I just found it really intriguing. I just wanted to keep looking around the image, and I felt like I was rewarded with a story, but more just I feel like the whole thing tells the story of a logging truck driver's day at work. So, gosh, sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of this.
Should we go to someone else, or you can give us a little bit more?
Yeah, go to someone else.
Glenn's indicating he's at the other end.
Yeah, look, I was down there on 72. I got excited going up. I enjoy a good black and white documentary series, but there was just too many images that were either slightly repetitive or didn't tell enough of a story. I'm looking at the two dead centre that in some ways duplicate each other, and then sadly the change in contrast levels and tonal range from each print, and then the final image, which should be the image that really sells you and finishes that story up, looks like it was cropped from a vertical image. Yeah, there's just so much wrong with it that I wanted to give it more, but ended up giving it a 72.
Seeing some nods. Someone in the middle have something to add? Or we'll come back to Amber.
Okay. I still feel like it deserves to have a bronze award. Maybe not quite 79, but I just feel like it's a really nice documentary capture of a commercial job, and I feel like it tells the story quite nicely.
Thank you, judges. Can we rescore this image? Currently on 74, just outside the award range. And we'll stay on 74. Thank you very much. Is the next image. Initial score of 78. That is a bronze award. Can I have a comment for the benefit of the photographer? Yeah, Sarah Lee.
This is it's a beautiful art piece. It's vibrant colours. It's a little grainy, but I love how you can picture things in there. To me, I see a sunset over rippling water. Unfortunately, there isn't any more to that. It's just beautiful lines and beautiful colours, so more story would bring it higher.
Thanks very much. Here's the next image. Thank you. Thank you, judges. Some scores, please. The print has an initial score of 72. It's professional standard. Thank you, judges. Can I have a comment for the author's benefit? Mandy.
Wow, what amazing creativity is flowing here. It's more about the control with post-production and compositing. You have a character there that is completely being absorbed by the background, so you're kind of losing that storytelling element. So just be careful in your lighting and how you're telling your story. Yeah.
Thanks, Mandy. Next image, please. Sorry, I moved it. Thank you, judges. Print has an initial score of 80, which is a silver. I'll accept that. Can I have a quick comment, please, Glenn?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's bold, it's powerful. It speaks well to that night sky. Great location. It's up there at Castle Hill. That little spot there on the left-hand side, Castle Hill Station itself, that's very, your eye goes straight to that when there's so much else to enjoy.
Thank you, judges. Just stand by. I just clicked the wrong button. I think I can fix it, though. Bear with me. This scroll is set up in the opposite direction to my computer, which makes things really confusing. Okay, we are back in action. Can we please have the next image? Okay, the print score is an 80, which is a silver award. That's great. Can I have a comment, please? Amber? Yeah?
I scored this an 81. I really enjoy it, but the first thing I wanted to do was turn the brightness up on the screen. So I just feel like what would have brought it higher would have been if the crop wasn't quite so tight around the bottom of Alice, and just a little bit more care taken with the tonal range. But overall, a really beautiful image. Well done.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please, Simone? Thank you, judges. And Brent has an initial score of 78. That is...
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Say it like you mean it, Mandy.
I'll go there. Oh, it's just so quirky. And it's timely. It's a bubble, for goodness sake. And, and it's a fragile bubble. And it's in this very pokey place. You know, like everything about it is, let's burst this bubble. And with all of our Trans-Tasman situation, this says a lot. And I like the fact that the framing just keeps drawing you back in, and you're just worried for that bubble, you know, and that you could feel that over a flippin' bubble there's something to be said. That's bronze. That it leads you there, and tell me what's wrong with it. Can't see
Thanks,
it.
Mandy. I would love to hear from Glenn.
I was there on 75. I just snuck it into a bronze award. I almost got confused by it, and I can happily read, the COVID story, the bubble story, but I then didn't know where to take that. I was left wondering about it rather than being rewarded by it, or just truly understanding it, if I'm honest. And also I found the two white flappy bits that are sticking in from the Tibetan prayer. I don't know. Those bits, I'm like, why, how come, why are they there? What's the white bit on the side? I just got confused.
Catherine, can
So
you...
help me out, because I reckon, with a little extra reading, someone's going to tell me what I'm really looking at.
Catherine, are you also in that bronze range?
Yeah, I am. I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay. Don't see anyone else jumping in, so I think it might be back to Mandy.
Right. The brightest part is the bubble, so that's where your eye does get drawn in, and then there's that little pokey bit at the bottom that's really gonna, there's drama. There is drama in this, and I just, it's a beautiful little piece of storytelling, and it's timely, and I think it should be rewarded for that.
Thank you, judges. Can we please rescore this image? Currently on 78. And it will be on 79, meaning we need to play the review game. So if you can please all enter either 79 or 80 in the image review score. Is it a silver? Is it a bronze? It is a bronze. 79. Just pause for 2 seconds. Who did we just look? Yeah. Did you definitely enter it in the image review score?
But I can do it again.
This happened earlier, and I got told it was because you were putting it in the wrong cell, but that's not true, because you just did it again. Definitely the right cell?
Definitely the right cell.
I trust and believe you.
Thank you.
So we will accept that at 79. It is definitely a 79. I can see the scores, the rest of the scores, and I'll make a note. Thank you. That's going to go through without a score on it, which is going to be a real pain. Can we have the next image?
You need to drop it down. Can't score.
Oh, sorry, you can't score for 2 seconds. Just bear with me. Sorry, it's my fault. Please, you can score this image now. Sorry, I didn't realise that was going to affect you. Just writing a note on the previous one. Okay, the print scores 77 is the initial score, and Catherine is going to challenge that. Go for it.
So I squeaked this into the silver range. I gave it 81. The image has a strong emotional impact when it turns around, when it popped up on the screen. There's just such engagement from this little character. I think it's memorable, it's simple. The photographer has caught a lot of character, quirkiness, dealt with the harsh light quite well. This is really, really harsh light, but you just keep coming back to those little slightly outraged eyes. I possibly would have even gone higher. The skin tones are a wee bit orange, a little bit bright, and there's that black blob against the grass. But I feel this deserves more than a bronze. This is a memorable image for me.
Thank you, Catherine. Can we hear from Sarah Lee?
I scored this as 72, and I may have been a little too hard. The main reasons are what Catherine's already pointed out, is that the skin tone's just too bright, and a little orange, and that black blob. I do like the cyany green background. I think it contrasts really nicely with the colour palette, but those are the main two faults why it's keeping it low for me.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. Glenn, did you have something to chuck in
Yeah,
there?
just a quick chime in, and I didn't see it until quite late in the piece, but I actually really like the slightly aged expression, and then the kind of old man braces, and suddenly I just saw this quirk of age, and that's pushed it up for me, along completely what Catherine has said. That just pushes it up to me. I'm going up there too.
Fantastic. Catherine, your right of reply.
Thank you very much. Glenn, absolutely. This kid, he's been interrupted in some weird fantasy little play. He's a rabbit, he's an old man, he is slightly outraged, full of character. Just a low silver low silver would be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, judges. Please rescore this image. It's currently on 77. Will it get to silver? It will. That is an 80 silver. Next image, please. We'll do one more, and then we'll do the switch. I'm just going to go up and range of scores there. Initial score is 76. Catherine, I think you're going to have a challenge on your hands.
Okay, I gave this an 88. I don't fully understand it, but I feel very excited by it, and I would like more time to understand it. I feel it's an image that the viewer could read into more and more the longer they look at it. It has a filmic sort of cinematic quality. You're slightly distanced from these people. I feel like I'm looking at old photographs, and it's not just because of the colour grading. It's something about the way the images are taken. They all have that old world sort of 60s or 70s feel to them. And then the way the photographer has played with these little pinpricks of light, to highlight the edges in the first one. In the second one, I feel like they are indicating a sense of direction and movement of the people. And then they're sort of scattered in the third one. So in each one, the photographer is using them in a different way. It's kind of peaceful at the end how they're scattered. Maybe these people are resting, and so you've lost that sense of the movement and direction. As I say, I haven't fully formulated my thoughts on this yet, but I feel that this is an image that would keep rewarding closer inspection. So it's quite exciting, 88.
Thanks, Catherine. I would love to hear from the far end of the judging panel.
Okay, I scored this a 72. I see the cinematic quality and with the dark vignettes. I am lost to read any more into it than just an exploration of technique, rather with the underexposure and the use of dots. There's no cohesion between them. I can't read any reason into them. So to me, it's just lovely images. We're trying something new. So.
All right, I would like to find someone close to the average. That's, yep, Mandy.
Yeah. Okay.
I get the impression you would like to
I
speak.
do. Funny that. All right, I scored this a 74.
Can you get close to that mic?
I scored it a 74, and I was being mean. And I thank you, Catherine, for stopping to let us look at it a bit more. I now understand the lines and the dots, and it is, you're looking at the story of a couple walking out, and that's the direction they're heading, and then it takes you through all of this crazy kind of path of their life to finally you're in this diffuse, dispersed rest. And that's what the patterns and the lights all mean. It's the middle is, the first bit is about the date, and this is our direction, and then it's all that crazy bit of life, and then just be. And it's a beautiful lot of storytelling, and because of that, I'll go up with you, Catherine.
Thank you, Mandy. Catherine, it's yours to wrap up.
I feel that there is enough of the suggestion of story here and the suggestion of being able to read into this more in future that for me is outweighing any sense that this is just a gimmicky thing that this photographer is trying. So yeah, I think we've shortchanged this image.
Thank you, judges. Could you please rescore this photograph? Currently sitting on 76, and we have an 81. That is a silver. Thank you, judges. And can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. Print scores 75, bronze. Very good. Can I have a comment for the photographer's benefit, Amber?
I scored this as 79, and I think that there's so much potential in there. I love what's going on in the back of her upper body, but the things that hold it back for me are just the fact that it's been cropped off on the left-hand side, and also the feet just don't feel elegant enough for the rest of the image. I think it would be better if she had been up on her feet and just pay a little bit more attention to the crop, but there's some really beautiful elements within there. Well done.
Thank you very much. Can we have a judge swap before we bring up the next image? Sarah Lee, you've done a fantastic job. Take a break. Rebecca, can you jump in there? And Glenn, you have also done a fantastic job. Russell, get in there. You can just take off your chill. I mean, don't go away, but don't rush back. Just need you at the end. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing something. Next print, please. Next image, please. Sorry, you guys are still finding yourselves again. Thank you, judges. Oh, sorry, you guys got a bit of a delayed start. Now I'm hassling you. Thank you. Print scores 80, silver. I would love someone to say a little something about this. Amber again?
I think that this is tonally really beautiful and very well controlled. It's got a beautiful, tranquil mood. In order to lift it up, I just think that maybe it needs one more element in there somewhere to give it a little bit more interest and originality, but it's very beautiful. Well done.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? Okay, print scores initially 78. Go on. That grin says you're challenging me.
Okay, I gave this an 85 because I think that it is an exquisite portrait of a mushroom. I think that that mushroom has got so much personality and it's been handled really beautifully. I just feel like it's the way that the photographer has captured this has really brought the mushroom alive, and I think it's beautiful. So,
Russell, where are you? Yep. Yeah.
I've given it a bronze, and I think it's okay there. I mean, the photographer hasn't had to bring much to this. I mean, they've found a lovely subject and they've shot it appropriately without being really demanded much.
Anyone close to the average? Rebecca, maybe, or Catherine? Rebecca, yeah?
I think I'm going to come up. I'm sitting on 78. I denied about this one. Yeah, the more I look at it, I see the skirt underneath, the umbrella, I guess you'd call it, which I think is really sweet. What has the photographer brought to it? I think they've shot it in the right light, at the right angle. They've used creative tools, having the soft focus there in the foreground and the background. It is a beautiful portrait of a mushroom. I will be coming up to silver, but I think that's where it sits.
Lovely. Back to you, Amber.
well, I think everything's kind of been said. Let's reward this beautiful mushroom with a slightly higher score.
Judges, please rescore, and we'll see if we can get from a 78 up to potentially a silver. And we have an 80. Congratulations. And we're going to do a judge change? No. Did you say we were? No. Okay, I'm making stuff up. Let's have the next image. Sorry. Ooh, oh no, we're still waiting for a score. We have a score of 78. That's good, consistent scoring, team. Love your work. Can I have a comment? Pretty please from...
We have a clap for bronze.
Oh, yeah, there's a bronze. Good call. That is a bronze. Catherine, are you looking at me because you've got something to comment for the author?
I think these are both beautiful images, lovely colour palette, nice flow through them. I feel maybe the photographer could have tried them the other way round. I find that dark blue line on the side of the left-hand image is quite a stop, and then I go into a flow, and I wonder if it might have flowed better across the image with that 1 second, but it might be personal taste. But lovely work.
That's great. Thank you very much. I'm going to do a quick judge change for the last few images because I feel bad for Tim. He's been sitting there for ages. Do you want to jump in for Mandy? Thank you, Mandy. You've been spectacular, as usual. Can we, when you are ready, have the next image? Thank you, judges. Scores, please. Quite a range there. Initial score of 82. Would you like to challenge that, Rebecca?
I can.
You can. Would you like to?
Yes.
Great.
Sure. When this image first came up, it really grabbed me. It had an emotive response. I felt sore, I felt pain for this person. I saw her struggle. I feel that she's trapped in two places. There's the beautiful red velvet on the right and a kind of muddy yuckiness on the left, as is her face and her body. She has this trapped feeling with this ivy, looks like barbed wire around her body. Perhaps it's her self-esteem, perhaps it's her struggle with her culture, the past. I think the narrative's really strong, whatever that is, whether it's in her own head around her own self-esteem or her struggle with her cultural background or her past. Very, very strong. It's executed beautifully. The colour palette is exquisite. I'm on 88. Come up with me.
Amber and Tim, I'll put it on the other end. Tim, go for it.
I give this a strong bronze at 79. I think it's a beautiful display of control and technique in lighting and post-production. What held me from going into silver was that lack of narrative. I think it is beautiful, and you can read into it to some extent, but the other thing that really distracted me was the white hair on the shoulder. I kept on going there, but I'm listening.
Catherine, at the average.
A bit of both of what you guys have said. I feel, I might be wrong here, but I keep feeling that her head is too big for that torso. There's quite a lot of distortion there. I think her face is beautifully lit, lovely three-dimensional modelling there, but it just feels too large.
Russell, quickly.
I don't think it's too large for the torso because it is the torso's head. Perhaps the fact that it's catching the light first might make it more prominent than the rest of the body as the light falls away on the body. But nonetheless, I think it's quite a beautiful image. Sometimes, do we have to get stuck with stories and God knows what? I mean, is something just really lovely to look at or not? And is it beautiful? Has it got great technique or not? This thing is lovely to look at and has got great technique, and for that reason alone, I think I'm going to be lifting my score into silver distinction as well.
Fantastic. Back to you, Rebecca.
Alrighty, according to our card here that I have in front of me, let me just pull that out. Excellent level of imagination and creativity, tick. Excellent visual communication, interpretation of subject and or emotion, absolutely. Excellent level of technique, craft, production and print quality, absolutely. It ticks all of those boxes in the silver distinction range. You can see that the torso is sitting on a stage. She's open for view, being critiqued by people. She's struggling with that. You can look into the story. I think the story is very, very there, very available for you to see. The blonde hair, is she struggling with her culture? Does she want to have blonde hair and pale skin? You can look into all of that stuff. But visually, it has such strong impact. And the photographer has executed that beautifully. Well done. I'm staying in silver distinction.
Thanks, team. Please rescore this image with that initial score of 82. Rebecca's looking for a bit more out of that. She has an 85, silver distinction. Great work, team. Let's have a look at the next image. Oh, Tim's jumping off. Can I have Glenn, do you want to jump in, please? In there for one print. Scores coming in. Initial score of 85. I feel like Russell's probably going to challenge that.
I scored at 93. I think it's a wonderful image. Faceless, but yet somehow a personality. The structures, the shapes that make up its body gives it a sort of a believable morphology. I can almost see the traps and, just everything is excellence. And it's a sort of a form of humanity in some way, looking down on those structures that we make that are also beautifully presented to us in that wonderful ascending line, those lovely highlights, little gradations right through that image and the textures, the simplicity of it, yet power of it. That's a great image, and sometimes simplicity can just sort of wash over us a little bit, and near the end of the night we might be sort of flagging a little, but I think this is one of the more fabulous images that we've seen today.
Thanks, Russell. I'm looking for Glenn or Amber to have a chat. Glenn looks like he's ready to go.
Absolutely. I marked at 80 and I'm going to go higher. There's something really neat about its industrial qualities. There's something that's very gritty, grimy, urban, and the more I sit with it, the more I like it. So I was stingy. I'm going up.
Thanks, Glenn. Catherine, do you want
I
to
think
put a few cents in?
this is a beautiful study in texture and line. You've got two very strong elements here that don't compete with each other. There's a real cohesion there. The way those blades are beautifully picked out by the highlights there, and then that little angled diagonal at the top left echoing the line of the head, helping wrap it all up together. I've given this 88 and coming up to gold.
Rebecca, I see you. Is that you leaning forward to chat? No?
No, actually.
That's fine.
I'm definitely coming up.
Great.
So, yeah, the more I look at it, love it, beautiful, well done to the photographer.
Russell, do you want to have the writer reply, and then we'll have another score?
Well, I just hope we really reward this image for what it is. It's a very different piece of communication to just about anything I've ever seen, to be fair, and I just think it well deserves to be solidly into the gold. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you, judges. Please rescore this photograph, and with the initial score of 85, we'll see where we end up. We have 92, gold. The relief is palpable.
I got a gold.
Very good. Deep breath, and Glenn, you can hop back off. Tim, you can hop back on.
Enjoying that.
Sorry. Thanks, Glenn.
And we have the final photograph for you to judge in this category when we click the button. There we go. Thank you, judges. And this image scores 80. That's a challenge for Russell.
I scored this 88. I would have scored it higher, but for one flaw on the right-hand image, and we've probably all seen that. But really, what beautiful balance and thought and mood and colour, shape, humanity, everything really. It's just really quite a strong image, and once again, sometimes simplicity can pass us by. But you know, there's a couple of little things in it, which is why I didn't score it gold. But really, it's a fantastic sort of representation of that young person.
Amber.
So I agree that it's a really authentic portrait of this child, but it really just doesn't resonate with me. I scored it a 74, and I feel like the technical elements really let it down. The over bright skin, I hate to say it, the no details in the blacks. I just don't find the composition adds anything really, and the dust on the mirror just really bothers me.
The what, sorry?
The dust on the mirror.
Tim, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the middle there at 78. I think it is a beautiful image for what it is. It's simplistic. The emotion of this little girl is kind of like, oh, another photo kind of thing. But unfortunately, it was the technical side of things that did keep me from going higher, especially just the overdoing of the eyes. They're quite golden. And for such a natural scene, that feels quite unnatural for what we're looking at.
I'm gonna, unless Rebecca's making a lot of faces and kind of looking at me.
I'm sitting on 82. I scored it in the silver range because the initial impact for me was very strong. I just saw this gorgeous little girl. She's got this quirky little face. She's got her top off, as does my daughter half the time at that age. But I think that there's a bit more in this. The photographer has set up a mirror or blackboard or something next to her. I think there's a story in there. I think it's around perhaps the mirror is, it's dark and it's dusty and it's a bit grim and it's not perfect in the mirror and her reflection's not perfect, and you've got this perfect, what I would say, this gorgeous, perfect little girl on the left, and then this sort of perhaps slightly soft, out of focus, gritty, dusty mirror with, something that's not as perfect. And so perhaps that's bringing out her personality. She looks very sweet. She's got the blonde hair and the little, sparkly eyes, but, maybe she's got some spark about her or a part of her personality that's a bit more gritty. And that's why you've got the angles in there. So I think that, again, it's not perfect. Children aren't perfect. They do have a bit of spark to them. And so I'm sitting on silver, but I'm pretty happy with that, sort of in a good, strong silver.
No wonder you're making so many faces. Russell, do you want to round this out and we'll have another crack?
The dust on the surface of the mirror is wonderful, really, because that gets you to focus on the surface of that world. She's past that. That's the depth of field in that image alone. And the colours in the mirror are fabulous. She's lit hard, but she's not out of detail and highlights anywhere. And so that allows her to stand out, separated from that dark background, the curtains that we can't see in the left image, to the one on the right. There's sort of like two little worlds there, which are quite fabulously given to us. The tilt of the head and just the natural look on the girl's face, sort of almost not playing the game, if you like, because she certainly can't be controlled. So it's just a wonderful, lovely little youthful image that's quite quirky, and I'm quite happy with what I scored it.
Thanks, Russell. Judges, please rescore this photograph and we'll see if we can get it from an 80 to something higher. An 81. That is indeed higher.
A victory.
However slim is worth celebrating.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations to the author. Congratulations to all entrants. Thank you, judges, volunteers, audience, and my wonderful assistant / other panel chair, Simone. And to the sponsor, Lumix, and the sponsor of the Iris Awards, Nikon. Judges, don't go anywhere. We need to make a judge-off panel, and everyone else, see you tomorrow. Bright and early.
Early start.